Hello everyone, Spencer Stabio here, and welcome to my top 10 movies of 2025. So to start off, it will be Caught Stealing, directed by Darren Aronofsky.
You run away from what you're afraid of, then it owns you.
Buckle your seatbelt.
Now, something I really appreciated about this was it really got across that, gritty 90s crime movie vibe, and at the same time being pretty humorous as well. I mean, it's the closest that Darren Aronofsky has gotten to like a comedy, at least from what I've seen from him. And yeah, and also the character arc of Austin Butler's character I thought was interesting, and it ended off on a note that just had me curious on what else could happen after that, and also just the unexpected turns that it had that I didn't really understand at first, but by the end I feel like it all made sense, and just a pretty neat movie that had an impression on me. Not much else to say than that. Just a really solid film. Number 9 will be Materialists, directed by Celine Song.
I'm
turning 48 and I think I need to meet someone more grown.
I have a really beautiful client. She's 31.
I wasn't really thinking 30s.
Now, this is another mature movie that deals with modern relationships and the complexity of them. I wouldn't say it's quite on par with her previous work being Past Lives, but I will say that I did enjoy it. I enjoyed the satirical elements, concerning like the expectations that both men and women have for each other, which, was humorous to me, but also just hit the nail on the head when it comes to that area of relationships. And also the pretty depressing state of modern relationships as well, when you have someone who will do almost anything for someone else's approval, which is just not right. And yeah, just a movie that shines a light on the slippery slope that is matchmaking, and I thought everyone did a solid job. And number 8 will be Rental Family, directed by Hikari.
Well, this is amazing.
It's cool, but it's fake.
Sometimes it's okay to pretend.
I'm just enjoying the Brendan Fraser renaissance. He's just such a good actor, and he really brings that sincerity with his character in this film, and the complex emotions that come with that in his character situation, which is he gets to be a part of this actual company in Japan called, Rental Family. They do have good intentions when it comes to trying to, help the mental health of their clients. But again, it is a slippery slope that can actually do harm, which, the story pretty much shows. And yeah, it was just a movie that tackles a number of relationships through an interesting lens, and a solid drama, a good movie overall. Number 7 is Nouvelle Vague, directed by Richard Linklater.
S'ils veulent la nouvelle vague, donnons-leur un raz-de-marée.
Just an overall solid film that pays tribute to world cinema, and Guillaume Marbec, who plays Jean-Luc Godard in this movie, personally I thought he knocked it out of the park. Just the dynamics he has with the cast and crew in the movie and in the story. It just made some good entertainment value. And I'm pretty sure they used the same camera that was used to film Breathless by Jean-Luc Godard, and yeah, that just brings another level of authenticity when it comes to the making of this movie as a tribute to the past, and I really admired it overall. And of course, the film geek in me just leaped out of me as I was watching it. Number 6 is Train Dreams, directed by Clint Bentley.
Beautiful, ain't it?
What is?
All of it. Every bit of it.
Yeah, this was overall just a reflective film that sees the portrait of a man's life slowly coming together until its crescendo, which is its final scene, which, yeah, I will admit, it did hit me hard by the end. Also, I have to appreciate the cinematography. It just really shows the appreciation for nature and the changing landscape around this very reserved but deep man who deals with a lot. And overall, the movie just did a splendid job of showing the complexities within a simple life. Number 5 is Weapons, directed by Zach Kreger.
Those kids walked out of those homes. No one pulled them out. No one forced them. What do you see that I don't?
So yeah, this was quite a surprise for me. I remember watching his previous film, Barbarian, and I can't say that film was like many other horror movies I've seen, but I think it kind of, personally, I felt it kind of fell apart in the third act. But this, I mean, wow, it actually told an engaging story. There was well executed humor and tension, and the humor never killed the tone or the vibe of the movie. There are some pretty graphic kills in it and some decent horror elements. Everyone across the board was pretty solid. You have Amy Madigan, you have Julia Garner, Josh Brolin, and Kerry Christopher. I'd imagine this would be one of his first roles, and he did a really solid job for what he had. And also, the climax of this movie is just one of the most memorable of the year for me. Just one of the ones that stuck out to me the most. Number 4 is K-Pop Demon Hunters, directed by Chris Applehans and Maggie Kane.
Everything is at stake.
Yeah, just an overall really fun animated movie that has a solid story that deals with, with the human condition and the shame we feel and how we need to make peace with that. Of course, the animation rocks, no surprise there, from the same team that was behind the Spider-Verse movies. It just revels in its goofiness and pokes fun, but at the same time embraces the crazy culture surrounding K-pop. And it has, likable female leads that you can root for, especially Rumi's character, who goes through a real, human struggle that you can connect to. And also, banner songs. I would be surprised if you haven't heard them on the radio or just online lately. Yeah, overall, a really solid animated film that felt sincere in its intentions. Number 3 is F1 the movie, directed by Joseph Kosinski.
If the last thing I do is drive that car, I will take that life, man. 1,000 times.
Yeah, just a really good crowd-pleasing blockbuster. There's actually some meaning and depth behind the stakes it presented, and the dynamic I thought was beautifully developed between Brad Pitt and Damson Idris's characters. The excellent race scenes. I mean, the climax, there's this one shot that just, floored me, and it was just one of the most memorable moments of the year as far as cinema goes for me. Yeah, just another crowd-pleasing blockbuster from Joseph Kosinski, and just one of the most fun movies I've seen this year. Number 2 will be Sinners, directed by Ryan Coogler. So yeah, just another surprise for me, a well-developed story that takes its time to develop its characters until the real exciting shit hits the fan. Also some memorable visuals and it features a powerful music score. One sequence in particular that uses music which just blew me away. The dual performance by Michael B. Jordan as brothers Smoke and Stack, what really impressed me. He managed to make quite a distinction between the two characters, and I really admire that Michael B. Jordan went for that. And of course, it plays with the vampire lore in an interesting way, and also deals with some pretty interesting themes and how that ties in with like the time period and such. Yeah, overall, really good movie that I'm sure will be remembered as a classic down the line. Before I get into number 1, here are some honorable mentions. The Fantastic Four: First Steps, directed by Matt Shakman. Wicked for Good, directed by John M. Chu. Becoming Led Zeppelin, directed by Bernard McMahon. The Gorge, directed by Scott Derrickson. Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, directed by Christopher McQuarrie. The Naked Gun, directed by Akiva Schaffer. John Candy: I Like Me, directed by Colin Hanks. And Good Boy, directed by Ben Leonberg. Now, my number 1 of the year will be Frankenstein, directed by Guillermo del Toro.
My maker told his tale. And I will tell you mine.
Yeah, this was just overall the most satisfying movie that I saw this year. It managed to tell a multifaceted story. You have terrific performances from Oscar Isaac and especially Jacob Elordi as the creature. He managed to get across that innocence, but also that terror you can experience from a being such as him. And yeah, the way that I decided to tell this story was really fascinating to me. And, Guillermo's eye for visuals is just, astounding. And yeah, I noticed some storytelling details that were deliberate and it made the characters stand out as well as link them to their motivations. And also, just in general, it's a film with variety where there's enough meat in this story where you can say that it's not just a straight up horror movie, and that's part of why I found this to be the most satisfying piece of cinema that I saw this year. Yeah, just a great production, a well executed story that managed to flesh out, a number of the themes from the book. And yeah, an overall satisfying experience that I will place as my number 1 of the year. Well, I hope you enjoyed. Do you have any favorites from this year? Comment down below. And I hope you have a good day.